problem. Okay.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brooklyn de Gracia Velez, and today I'm interviewing Dr. Soler from the Smithsonian Institute. Thank you so much for coming here, Doctor.
Thank you for the invitation.
It was my pleasure. So, I wanted to ask you, what did you study at the university, and how does that relate to your job?
Oh, that's a very good question. So I study oceanography at the University of Puerto Rico in Mayagüez. And oceanography is a science that studies the oceans and everything in them. And imagine that it is like a big puzzle that uses pieces from different subjects to understand the how the ocean works. And so these subjects are biology, like for instance, learning how animals and plants live in the oceans. Another subject is physics, where you study how is the movement of the water, the waves, and the currents. We also have chemistry, where we
Oh, chemistry?
explore, yeah, where we explore the components of the water, the salts and other minerals. And it also includes geology, where we investigate the ocean floor, like for instance, how are the mountains and underwater volcanoes created. And so I work, the second part of your question, how that relate to my job. So I currently work at the Smithsonian Environmental Research Center. And in my job, I study the tiny aquatic organisms that travel in tanks of big commercial ships. And these organisms come from different places and can cause problems when they end up in the new environments. Let's think about a vessel is coming from Japan, let's say, and it has water from Japan and then comes here. These organisms from different places can cause problems when they end up in these new environments. So by studying them, I help protect our oceans and keep the environment healthy.
I see. That's amazing. So, I have a question from a little bit ago. You said there are a couple of different types of oceanography: biology, chemistry, and, and physics. Which one of those are you?
Biological oceanography, because I
Oh,
study organisms in the water, but then I use other subjects, like for instance, how the nutrients in the water affect those organisms. So that's the chemistry. So I integrate all those subjects to understand the organisms I study.
I don't know how you do that. That's amazing.
It's good.
Hmm. Did you always like science, or did it come later?
So I always knew I wanted to have a career in environmental science to help protect the environment. But it wasn't until I went snorkeling for the first time, that happens in Aruba, that I decided to become a marine scientist. So seeing the amazing underwater world, like fish and the algae, made me want to learn more about the oceans and how to keep the oceans healthy.
That's that's very inspirational. Hmm. In university, did you face any challenges or disadvantages?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I have faced
Really?
struggles and challenges during my career and in life in general, but I haven't let them to stop me. I
Good.
overcome them by following my mom advice. And she always say, querer is poder. And that translates, when there is a will, there is a way. So now I like to see those challenges as grow opportunities. And I'm going to give you some examples. So when I start college, the biology textbooks were in English, which I didn't fully understand at that time. But I use
Mm.
a dictionary to write the Spanish words on top of the English words. And in this work, I learned it was extra work, but it was worth it because now I know English thanks to that. Another example is that when I in school, there were some courses that I needed for my research, but they didn't offer those courses. But I didn't let that to stop me. I applied for scholarship and requested donations to different entities, and I traveled to Mexico and Colombia to take those courses. And you know what's awesome
Wow.
about that? That I
What?
not only learned what I needed, I also made new friends, and that was an amazing experience.
That's really nice. Do you still talk to those friends?
With some, yeah, there's social media and we communicate with each other. Yeah.
Mm. Wait a minute. Weren't those convenient because you spoke Spanish the best and those places both speak Spanish?
They speak Spanish. So yeah, those
Mm.
both courses were in Spanish.
That's good. Did you have a role model or a mentor?
Yes, so
Too.
important. So during my graduate studies, I had a mentor named Dr. Juan Gerardo González Lagoa. He's now 92 years old.
Oh, wow.
And he inspired me to study the tiny organisms that lives in the oceans and also taught me the methods on how to examine them or how to study them. And he also shared his passion for teaching and spreading knowledge to students and the public, and that
Really?
inspired me to do the same. And he's my role model, and he still teach. Not
Really?
he's retired, but he still do some outreach and public engagement with students and teachers, which I really love that. I want to be
That's
like,
amazing.
yeah, I want to be like him, but it's like, whoa, 92 and he's still doing that. That's amazing.
Yeah. Just shows that just because you're 92 doesn't mean you can't teach.
Yeah, exactly. If you have the energy, why not? And the passion.
What do you think can be done to keep girls in science, like
Yeah.
young women?
Yes. So I think that girls need to see people like them doing science. When they see someone who looks like them and comes from a similar background, they're going to feel like they belong and can do it too. So this helps them to feel motivated and excited to study science. So representation matters. Representation matters.
That is so true. So, from your experiences in in the field, what would you say are some misconceptions in science that people make?
So regarding the career, some people think they need special abilities to study science, but that's not true. The most important things are passion, motivation, and perseverance. If you love science, stay motivated and keep trying because you can succeed. You don't
Mm.
need special abilities. You need to be passionate about it
And work hard.
and work hard, be disciplined, manage your time, exactly all that.
Based on your experiences in science, what's one message you would tell other girls who are going into science?
That's a very nice question and one of my
Thank
favorites.
you.
So science is about exploring and discovering new things. So stay curious, ask questions, and don't be afraid to make mistakes or to ask for help. Every
Mm.
challenge is a chance to learn and grow. and believe in yourself. Find mentors who inspire you. And remember, you can achieve great things with passion and perseverance.
I see. Wow, that was amazing. Thank you so much, Dr. Soler, for letting me interview.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me to this interview, for those amazing questions, which I think are important, especially because people think that scientists are only men and
That is not
crazy
true.
people, and that's no true. That's no true.
Science is all genders and for everyone.
Exactly. All genders or race, everyone can do
Mhm.
science.
Thank you. I had fun hearing your answers.
Okay, I'm gonna stop recording now.
Okay, bye.
There you Yeah.
Hello, hello there, everyone. My name is Brooklyn de Gracia Velez, and today I am interviewing Dr. Acosta.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining me today, Doctor.
My pleasure.
So I was wondering, what did you study at the university, and how does that relate to your job?
So I study biology,
Oh,
and it relates to my job because now I have a laboratory where I study also biology,
really?
but I study things related to health. I study the brain, and my focus is on diseases that affect the brain. And I want to know, like, for example, why so many women compared to men suffer from dementia, which is a type of ill of mental disorder where people forget, you know? So, yeah, so I want to understand what's going on with aging, why so many people lose the capability of remembering all of a sudden.
Ooh, that is very interesting. So, do you only study diseases or do you also study conditions?
Um, Mostly diseases, yeah, so far, I started studying reproduction, how
Action?
having babies. Reproduction, yeah. We used to study in my lab how regions in the brain are controlled by food, by diet, by
Oh,
metabolism, and then how is it that that affect fertility, the ability of men and women to have babies, to go through puberty, etc. And now my focus is a bit changed because I want to study more diseases that affect brain function in terms of memory. So I'm still interested in hormones, like, we have estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. Those are important hormones. These are molecules that we produce and they can impact the function of our brain. So I really want to know, how is it that when we age, when we go older, how the brain changes and adapt to the changes in the hormones, okay?
I I did not know that.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Did you always like science or did it come later?
That's a good question. I think I I always liked science, but
Hmm.
I didn't always know what can be done with science, Like when I was in college, I really like uh, being a professor. Like I really like the idea of teaching in a university. And it was only later that I understood that I could do other things with science, So
Like
there are many
science.
careers. I think that's why I initially joined, focus on science because I wanted to be a professor in a university.
Do you have any regrets?
People say that if you don't have regrets, you haven't lived. I
Mhm.
think, it's a long journey if you want to have a career in science. So, I have to move to the US and study
Wow.
here. So I miss a lot. I miss my family. I miss friends in Puerto Rico. So it's not regret, but it's definitely a challenge, right?
Hmm. Well, I'm sure your family and friends must be proud of you for following your dreams.
They are, I think so.
Hmm. Do you have a role model or a mentor?
Yeah, I have many, thank God. First of all, my mom, she always supports me. She's always been there, the biggest cheerleader for me.
Really?
And also when I went to study more, like, have a master's and a doctorate degree, like my advisors, the people that I met throughout my career, were really, really good models, role models. Like,
Oh,
I saw other women in the same role I am now, and that
oh,
helped me, a lot.
that's amazing. Um, what do you think can be done to keep them in science, like young women?
Um, it is interesting a lot. This is an area, your question is an area of a lot of research and debate. And we still don't have a good answer. I have several suggestions. I think, we have to make sure that women as men have the same pay, that they are remunerated the same. I think also we need more mentors, more support along our career, our steps. We need a lot of support and also flexibility, because success, there are many types of success, right? And so, you know I evaluate my success not of the things that, I have achieved many things, but also the things I still want to do. That it's not over. It's a
So,
journey.
so you're successful right now, but you feel like there's more success you can do.
Yes, I feel this. I feel that, like, I still have many ideas I want to pursue.
Mm. What what do you think are some misconceptions in science that people make a lot?
I think people think that science is instantaneous, and I think people think that science is just make an observation and that's it. Science is a process, it's a very meticulous, very rigorous process. It's based on observations, right? But you have to test them over and over, and you have to be able to eliminate many other possibilities. So science takes time. If you want to do good science, it's not going to happen in a week or
Overnight.
a month. Exactly. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of people, a lot of a lot of people putting their brains together. So I think the misconception is that I think people think that science is kind of something that is quick.
I see. Well, based on your experiences in science, what's one message you would tell other girls who are going into science, like right now?
I think, if it's something that is you believe in, that you're passionate about, I think it's worth pursuing. To be ready for challenges, like in any profession, there are challenges, right? And science there are many avenues you can take. You can have education in science and be a lawyer or be a doctor or be a researcher or be a teacher, all related to science. But the important thing is that you have a passion, and you're willing to be very consistent, and never lose the hope,
Keep
right?
going at
Because
it.
keep going, because that's life. Science is like life. There are many challenges that you have to overcome and keep trying and keep trying. It's like, I think it's like being an actor in
Uh,
many ways, because when you're an actor and you're starting, nobody knows you. You have to do a lot of things to survive, to pay your bills. And
yeah,
then maybe someday you get discovered. So
and you
science is
become
a little bit
famous.
like that. Yeah, science is like you have to work your way up and keep trying, and then someday, you may be, fortunate, lucky enough to make your big discovery. So
That's very interesting. One thing that I've noticed is similar with science and life is that you're always discovering like new things.
yes, that's why I think that's the one of the reasons I like science, because I never get bored.
Hmm.
If I work on a project, yeah, I like to finish, but I can move on and try another thing or investigate another aspect of that project. So yeah, in a sense, I like it because yeah, you never get bored. It's very interesting all the time.
Wh- hmm. Well, I was wondering, in university, did you face any challenges or disadvantages?
Um, I think, I was very lucky, thank God. I have very good support from my family,
Good.
and God. I think my biggest challenge is myself, maybe not believing enough or doubting, myself a lot. And I think that you you work through that through time, right? When you gain more confidence as you go and try things. But I think that's my biggest challenge, and still it's still a process, right? Am I doing this correctly, or is it's an adventure, right? But I think that's very common.
Did what um did it like did anyone ever like treat you lower because you were a girl? Like in your job or like in your in college or something?
Not that I was aware of, or I noticed. If somebody did, I ignored that person. So
Oh,
it has not been an issue, thankfully.
thank goodness.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for interviewing. Well, thank you for coming and letting me interview you. I really appreciate it. I had fun doing this with you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Hmm. Bye.
Bye.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brooklyn Gracia, and today I will be interviewing Dr. Thais Carrion.
Hi, Brooklyn.
Thank you so much for coming here.
Thank you for inviting me, for having me.
So I was wondering, what 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 did you study at the university, and how does that relate to your job?
So, when I went to university, I studied biology. I majored in biology. I did my 4 year degree here at the University of Puerto Rico. And then I went on to graduate school. I really liked like doing bench work and finding answers to questions. So I went to graduate school and pursue my degree in molecular genetics, a PhD. So to this day now, right now, I work leading a team of scientists and engineers. We work in the pharmaceutical industry.
Oh, really?
Yes, and we do improvements to the process. that are, that are used to make medicine. So I use what I study actually every day, which is very fortunate for me, right? Not
Oh, wow.
everybody get to do that.
Yeah, that's amazing. Did did you always like science or did it come later?
Well, in my case, science came very early in my life.
Really?
So yes, when I was in the fifth grade, my uncle, Tio Freddy, sat me down to do our first experiment. He was at the time also a PhD, a professor at the University, Inter-American University in Puerto
Oh,
Rico.
wow.
Yes, and I had a science fair project that I needed to do, and I asked him for help. And he sat me down and asked me a lot of questions, and based on my interest, he helped me put together an experiment and a project. And from there on, I got hooked. I knew I wanted to do something in science and learn more.
Do you still remember what that project was?
Oh, yes. That project was, we wanted to understand the concentration of oxygen that the fish needed in the tank
Oh,
to
really?
live healthy. Yes, that was that project. I don't remember exactly all the steps, but I remember what was it about.
Did you get a good grade?
I got an excellent grade.
Oh, that's amazing.
And actually motivated me to continue doing science projects and compete in the science fair. I go to the science fair and learn, different areas of science until I found out what I like the most, right? So that's why later in that journey, I identified genetics, and then that's why I majored in that.
Hmm. That's an amazing story. Did you uh, face any challenges in university or disadvantages?
Well,
Ever?
yes. I think we all face challenges.
I meant because you're a girl.
Oh, because I'm a girl. So this is very interesting that you asked me that, because I don't feel because I was a girl I face challenges different to my peers. But in certain, particularly now in my career, so I've been in my career for 20 years and a little bit more. I had seen that my peers tend to be mostly men, so
Mm.
there are less girls than boys. Um, but very interesting. Right now, the group I lead, my direct report of the team that I work with every day, is an all girls.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I'm the executive director of this organization, and my directors are women, and the senior managers that reporting to me are also women. So I think in the last several years, there been good effort, right, from us, from women.
Yes.
In some ways, we're taking over also science.
That's amazing.
Hmm.
Yay, woman power.
Women power.
Did you have so was Tio Freddy like a role model to you or was it someone else?
No, Tio Freddy is a role model to me to this day. I'm very proud of what he accomplished in his career as a professor, as a human being as well. And I look up to him, to this day. I sometimes just have conversations with him about, things, right, that get a different perspective. But also in my career, I have um, make sure that I have connected with mentors. So I wasn't sure what I was doing when I started. Like I never had when I started, I didn't have a formal mentor, which is something I encourage my team members to have now. And right now, even though in a more senior position, I have formal mentors, and I have mentors that are male, I have mentors that are female. And for me, what made the difference in the when I started my career and then when I progressed was to connect with strong women. So, but I had at the time when I would say that awakening happened after I was in the industry, maybe after my fifth year, that I knew that that's really what I wanted to grow and progress. Then I started connected with different leaders that I look up to for different reasons. So, with some of them, I learned things that were about the business. With others, I learned things that were about work-life balance and how you balance what you do at work and what you do with life.
Mm. That's I honestly wonder how you do it. I cannot imagine doing that.
Oh, it's fun. But at the beginning, it could be hard, right? Because there are ways to get started in mentorship or to find to figure out how to get to people, right? One of the things that the ways I started was by reading books that were not about science but about connection and about leadership, right? And I really like listening to books. So I even maybe for the last 10, 15 years I've been doing a lot of audiobooks. Like I will go in walks and just listen to them and get ideas. And then sometimes you just find people that you connect with in a personal level that may, evolve and also be something that could be professional.
Is there one particular book that you would recommend for like girls that are trying to get into science to listen to?
I really like the work from Brené Brown. There, she has several books on leadership. But one book that I wanna make sure I quote the book correctly is The Power of Saying No. I will find the reference for you. That was one of the first ones that I read. It's not from Brené Brown. I read Brené Brown is more really about leadership and courage. How to learn to be to put courage over fear or over comfort. Like to me, that transformed the way I handle myself, particularly in the business. So I realizing that a lot of things will take you outside of your comfort zone, right? That you need to be courageous to get outside of your comfort zone. It's just did something to me that clicked in my head that yeah, it's not about being comfortable or I need to go the next step and then be comfortable being uncomfortable, and maybe that way I reach what I want or learn what I want to learn. So one thing for leadership is the work from Brene Brown. She has several books. The Power of Saying No is also one good for balance. For science, go to school, ask your questions, find what grabs your attention, because it doesn't matter what area you decide. It needs to be something that
Right for you.
that's right for you, and that you're interested in. If not, you're not going to enjoy it, and if you don't enjoy it,
Then why are you even there?
there you go.
What do you think can be done to keep girls in science?
Exactly what we're doing right now, having conversations, right, and making it a priority, and also
Connecting with
con
other women?
connecting with other women. Sometimes we don't know what the solution is, but sometimes we connect with other people that have solved those problems, right? I really believe not all of us need to solve every problem. If we can learn from others, that you don't have to go through it. If you can learn from others, learn from others. You know, take it. Sometimes it does take a lot of putting in the work, right? That we cannot take that outside of what it takes. So it does take putting in the work, and don't be courageous, right?
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid. Be courageous and find your drive, right? That's gonna support you through the uncomfortable steps of the
Your
journey.
science tribe.
Their science drive.
There's something I've been really wanting to ask you. What do you think are some misconceptions in science?
Well, misconceptions in science are many. There's a lot of myths, right, that people think are science, and there's a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of disinformation. Yes. So I would say, it's important that you challenge what you read and understand the sources and ask the questions, right? Most often than none, if it doesn't make sense to you, it's not gonna it's just because it doesn't make sense, right? So ask until it makes sense to you. Understand the data, right? And sometimes the data is very simple, sometimes it could be complex, so that's why there's so many SMEs out there. But I had a boss that taught me, look for the proof, right? Look for the proof. So look for the data, to understand the source.
What is an example you can give us of a common misconception that people like keep making?
I don't know about misconception, but I would say that perhaps one common thing that you say is that people just repeat what others say without understanding the source, right? That's like a practice.
So they just say something, but they don't check like if it's true. They don't like do the research or nothing.
And even when it doesn't make sense to them, they say, "Well, but so and so said," right?
Oh, I see.
Mhm.
Wow. Well, I'm sure we all learned a Bible lesson. Check your data, people. Well, based on your experiences in science, what's one message you would tell other girls who are going into science, like for the first time ever?
Be courageous. Don't be scared. You can do it, right? If there's something that interests you, connect with others. In the time that we're living, there are so many different ways that you can connect. Don't be scared of doing it, right? I have had people that had reached out to me in LinkedIn to have a 20-minute conversation on career, people that I never met in person, that will probably never meet in person, right? They just see my profile, see what I have done. I'm just interested in, just ask. A lot of people just wanna pay it forward, right? And support others that I wanna, decide whether this is for them or not, right? And also know is what is the key is that it's something you enjoy, not because. In my case, right, I mentioned my uncle is one of my role models, so perhaps my main role model, but I pursue this career because it's something I enjoy. If I had not enjoyed it, I would probably be doing something else, right?
Yeah.
So be courageous.
Take chances.
Take chances.
Well, that includes our interview. Thank you so much, Doctor, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
No, I'm glad to have you. Hello there, everyone. My name is Brooklyn de Gracia Velez, and today I will be interviewing engineer Claudia Diaz. Thank you so much for joining us.
Brooklyn, thank you for having me.
No problem. So, I was wondering, what did you study at the university, and how does that relate to your job?
Well, I have a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering. Mechanical engineering is basically the branch of engineering that focuses on design, manufacturing, testing
Really?
of things that move. For example, airplanes, cars, machines, everything that moves, basically. I have a minor in aerospace engineering, which is basically mechanical engineering, but for aircraft. And I'm working on a master's degree in manufacturing engineering.
Oh, wow.
Which I think is totally cool. I love it. I love
That's
it.
good.
Yeah. And for what I do with my job, I'm basically a mechanical design engineer. So I'm always designing new stuff. I help design satellites. That's my current program right now. I help design stuff for the U.S.
Government?
Yeah, for the U.S. government defense. And I took a lot of design classes in college, so that really helps me out when I'm designing. I took a lot of materials classes, structural classes, so that way I can keep in mind, am I doing something that is safe? Is this actually going to work out? Is this a viable design? I think everything I took in college really helps me out with what I'm doing today.
Is it sometimes hard designing, or does it like come naturally to you?
Both. I think I'm very creative, but sometimes I'm like, I think this is gonna work, and then when I give it to the guys that are actually gonna build it, they're like, no, this is not gonna work. You have to change it. Or for a client, the client is like, yeah, I want this, and when I do it, they're like, no, I changed my mind. I don't want to do that now. I want to do something else.
That must be
So
so annoying.
yeah, sometimes it is. It can be.
Did you always like science or did it come later?
I think I always liked science, but my interest really peaked when I reached high school. When I got in ninth grade, I had a teacher and she would make us question everything.
Really?
Everything. She would make us question everything for our tests,
Oh,
for extra bonus points. She would really make us think. And that really sparked my interest in science. I'm really into physics. And she really sparked my interest.
hmm. Did, in university, did you face any challenges or disadvantages?
I did. When engineering, I was looking up the statistics before, and engineering is the branch of STEM where there are least girls. And sometimes when you're in mechanical engineering, as I was the only girl in class sometimes.
Really?
So yeah, sometimes.
Did that
So
feel intimidating?
what?
Did I ever feel intimidating?
Sometimes. Sometimes. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes. But they would make me prove myself so many times. And even though I had the right answer sometimes, or even though I was responsible, even though I knew what I was talking about, they still wouldn't trust me because I was a girl. So I really had to prove myself every single day, all the time. It was really frustrating at times.
Well, at least it paid off in the end.
It did, it did. But it took a lot of self growth and confidence. Just feel confident in myself, feel good about myself, and know that I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm saying. I am studying, so I am just as good as you are. But it took a lot of self growth and confidence.
Did, does that still happen in your job, or did that really only happen in university?
That happened in college really, but over here in my job, my top boss, she's a woman. I have a few girls in my department, and it's really balanced out. Over here where I'm working at, a lot of girls are really into mechanical engineering. So I don't really face that issue right now in college.
That's good.
Yeah.
Did you have a role model or a mentor?
I think a very fundamental person in my liking of math and science would be my dad. My dad made me like, even though he was my math teacher, he taught me math, but he made sure that I loved math. And that is the difference. He made sure that I was good at math, that I liked math, and that I saw math as something fun. So that really helped out in my career in engineering. I also had a professor. Her name is Diolina Herena, and she was everything I wanted to be. She was a mechanical engineering. She would be, she's the best professor over there, I think.
Really?
And she was a very good designer. She was a very good mathematician. She was awesome. And she would always be like, hey, I want you to join my team. Hey, I want you to like start researching. And she was a person who made me understand that I was capable of doing the same things that boys were doing in my class. So yeah, I'd say my dad and that professor.
Do you keep in touch with her?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, that's
I do.
nice.
I do. We talk sometimes, and I just let her know how it's going at my work. So we do talk.
What do you think we can be done to keep girls in science?
I think two things. First, I think we have to help girls understand that being smart is cool. Being smart is not something that you should be ashamed of. You should not be ashamed of being a nerd. Being a nerd is cool. And
Yet you have the brains.
being a nerd is cool. And being smart is beautiful. And we should not be ashamed of being smart. And another thing, I think it really comes down to older girls in science to just spark that interest in younger girls. so that younger girls can look at us and be like, okay, I want to be like her and be a role model. So I think it's having younger girls understand that science, math, STEM, being smart is cool, and having the older girls is be a role model to younger girls.
I see. From your experiences, what are some misconceptions in science that people have made?
Well, a misconception that I had when I was younger was that science is like this very hard thing. Not everyone can understand science. And science is, everyone can understand science. Everyone can do science. Even if you're from here, even if you're a girl, everyone can do science. And science is for everyone. So I think that was a really big misconception that I had when I was growing up.
I see. Based on your experiences in science, what's one message you would tell other girls who are going into science?
I think first it would be that us girls, we have to stick together. We have to stick together and become a greater force in science. We have to support each other in science, you know, because I think together we're going to grow. And we were looking at the statistics earlier, and it showed that the percent of girls in STEM, it's just staying the same. It's not really growing that much. It's staying the same. I think we should stick together and make it grow. You know, that is one thing. The other thing I think would be that girls should understand that you are capable of making a difference, and you are capable of making a change. You are capable of doing that thing that you think it's impossible. You are
Girl
capable.
power.
Girl power, definitely girl power. But sometimes we're like, oh, I don't know, maybe I'm afraid. I don't think it's possible. I don't know if I can do it. Well, yeah, you can do it. You can do it. So I think us girls, we have to understand that we're more than capable of doing things. And the last thing would be that knowledge and what you learn is the only thing that no one can take away from you. Because you can lose your job, you can lose your money, you can lose your friends, you can lose everything. But what you learn, you're never going to lose it. So I'd say that we should stick together, we should believe in ourselves, and we should treasure what we learn.
I see. That was beautiful.
Thank you. But
You're
I hope you take it to heart. And I
do.
hope after this, I hope you believe in yourself, and I hope you feel more than capable of making a difference in STEM.
I do. And I hope this interview helps other girls feel
Definitely.
too.
I hope it does. I think
Well,
it's a really beautiful project that you're working on.
thank you. Well, thank you so much, Engineer Claudia Diaz,
Thank you
for coming here.
Thank you for having me. I enjoyed it.
Me too. Bye. Right here.
There.